Oh, it's already got German couplers in it. Back after it again tonight. So I went and borrowed my buddy's engine hoist, and I'm gonna get the whole assembly off of the jack stand and put it on the ground so that I can pull the torque tube off, because the second I pull that tube off, this whole thing is gonna get unbalanced. Plus this thing is leaking. Not a good sell for Harbor Freight, but it's leaking, and I'm gonna have to use it to put the whole thing back in the car. So I don't know. I just want to get it out of the way and make it easier and safer to work on. So stupid zip tie down in there. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Trying to get the torque tube and everything separated tonight. Looks like just 13mm bolts all the way around. This little thing right there, it's where the wire harness was attached. Bet these aren't tight either. Nope. So now I'm down to the point where I'm going to start taking apart the torque tube. Got my snap ring pliers. Mine has a snap ring. It does not bolt in place, so. And apparently my big snap ring pliers are still not big enough. I might have to go get a bigger pair. That thing is no joke. I didn't have the camera recording, but I just barely managed to get that snap ring to come out enough where I could get a tiny screwdriver behind it. Ooh, okay, there we go. I mean, that was probably 20 minutes of fighting with that thing. After about 20 minutes of sitting here fighting with this stupid snap ring, actually managed to get it out. That thing is a beast. By far, in all of my automotive time, that was the most difficult snap ring I have ever dealt with. And I could show you some really big snap rings. Oh, wow. That's not what I expected to see. Oh, it's already got German couplers in it. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get some better light. It says made in Germany right there. And there's not a crack. There's not a single crack in there. Well, damn. That means the vibration is coming from the harmonic balancer. Well, no, they both say GM on them. But there is not a single crack. They both say GM, not a single, what do you call it? Not a single shred of rubber in there anywhere. No fluid, no nothing. Well, that's discouraging. That means it's the harmonic balancer that's causing all the vibration. No cracks in the torque tube, nothing. Huh. Either way, the car has just shy of 100,000 miles on it. And I've owned it since 40,000 miles. And I've had it since 2011. And none of this stuff has been replaced in the lifetime of me owning the vehicle, so it definitely can't hurt to have this stuff replaced. Let's see. Wow, that joker's in there tight. So to get these bolts loose, what I had to do is pinch it in the vise on the coupler and get my tool under my weight. Seems to have worked fairly well. I just got to do that 3 more times. That'll pull this off, and then to get to those guys, I'm going to have to press the bearing and stuff off. Lots of Loctite. Lots and lots of Loctite. Is that a seal? Yeah, there's some kind of seal and a brass bushing inside there. But mine has 0 play. It seems like that's normal bearing noise. Seem like they're in pretty good shape. So here's the old one, and it says made in Germany on that side, and then over here it says GM. It says SGF 16, there's the GM part number. Then this one says made in Germany, and it says SGF. So, and actually this one might be a little bit better because it doesn't have cavities in between all of the things. So this one is probably a little bit stiffer. The dimensions are identical. The bolts go through this one. So my wager is that this one is probably a little bit stiffer, just simply because it doesn't have those cavities right there. But I mean, they're identical, and this is what I bought. Make sure you can see that. So definitely putting it on. I've got it this far. I've already bought it, and it's not like I can get my money back, so definitely putting it on. And this drive shaft is incredibly light. It's just kind of insane to me. It's very obvious this is the heaviest part. So I guess that guy goes in the trash. Weight difference? This one feels a little bit heavier too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go get my scale. Here's one with GM. And it weighs in at 478. Here's the made in Germany. 474, so okay, this one's just a hair lighter. Actually only have red Loctite, so it's still got a ton of Loctite on it, but I'm just gonna put a few drops on there. So according to Chris Stewart, the torque on an automatic transmission is 52 foot-pounds, on a manual transmission 66. And he brings up that these arrows right here have to point toward the flange. So I got my arrows pointed toward the flange, and these German ones even have the arrows. So then I got my torque wrench set to 66 foot-pounds. Which seems like a lot, but Guess I had that coming. Kind of torquing. Well, how do you do this and not throw it out of the bench? So I'm going to press out the hub first, and I've got my bearing splitter. I could just prop it right here, but you always want to have the support of your pressed part as close to the part as you possibly can, as close to the center of the part being pressed on. The closer you get it, the less chance you have of bending and breaking things. Oh, it was already out. It's got a serious snap ring down in there. Next order of business is to get that one off, but I got to take these two snap rings off first. Before I take anything apart any further, I just want to double check my the bearings that I actually got are the right bearings. I don't want to measure dirt, I want to measure the actual shaft itself. So it's coming in at 39.2 on the inner. These are the bearings that I got, Timken bearings, which that already looks too small. $39.89. $39.95. 39 point, yeah, so that's the right, that one right there is correct. Let's see about the outer diameter. 67.9. 67.9, so that one is correct. So this is the right part number. Timken 9107 PP. You need one of these. And this bearing right here, 918 PP, you need two of these. got the bearings pressed off. So here's my bearings. What's funny to me is that they're both Fafner, but they're both built a little bit different, even though they're the same part number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one with the metal gasket toward the outside. So I've got to press this bearing in here to the face, but I don't have anything that size to press on. So what I did is I took one of the old bearings and I actually cut a notch in it so that it gives. And I'm going to try and use that and that to press it in. That way, whenever it gets pressed in there, I can use it to press it in there, but then I can get it out. Yeah, that worked great. Just slides in and out with your fingers. And it pressed on the outside of the bearing. Now I gotta get the snap ring. I forgot to show taking this one out, but it's kind of weird. Just sort of coils. I've never seen one like this. And I did notice there's actually rubber O-rings right here. There was one over here. I'm not replacing those because I don't even know what part number they would be, but I also I don't know what they do. There's no fluid or anything, so I have no idea what they actually do. Oh, it's getting hung on that O-ring. There we go. And this bearing gets pressed in against it. But there's a inner snap ring for this bearing. So you gotta have a snap ring right there and right there. And then you press it together. Then you put another snap ring out there. Right? Now that snap ring hits that side of the bearing. I don't really know how. I guess I'll have to do the bearing splitter. That's a slip fit. No wonder it has that spring O-ring. It's like a spring style. Okay, that's fine. So that's a slip fit. That's a press fit. So I've got to support this race right here, which I don't know if I have. Yeah, that's the biggest socket I have. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do my race trick with the inner race as well. So, slip fit into there, press fit into there. See if I can get that last snap ring in there. Yeah, just barely. All right, bearings done on this side anyway. Got my arrows pointed toward my flange. 60 times. Now for this end. I guess this is a Teflon bearing, but it's yeah. Just gonna leave it there so I make sure I don't put it in the wrong way. Now I gotta go press that bearing off. Oh, you can't press on the race. That's what's going on. We have to cut that off. To have to cut a bearing off is not all that uncommon. I have to do it all the time on a car bearing. These things are so hard, they're brittle, so you smack it with a hammer and they just shatter. Oh, there's a snap ring in there. That's what's going on. I wonder if I get in there with a bearing press, can I slide that ring off? So all the bearings, couplers, everything is done. Torque tube is clean, no debris inside there. for that massive snap ring. The bane of my time here, rebuilding this torque tube. Let's see how this is going to go. Well, I know how it's going to go. It's going in. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But how easy will it be? That's the key. I'm going to go get lunch. I'm hungry. And I'm frustrated. And my thumb hurts. So here's the K-Tec clutch slave cylinder. GM part number right there. And the difference for this clutch slave cylinder is it's a little bit shorter. Came with the bearing, which of course I already had, but you know, whatever. One thing I did not show you guys whenever I was doing the torque tube was this is the clutch or clutch slave cylinder hydraulic line. I ended up cutting it because I could not get the what do you call it, the line out, and I had everything kind of balanced in the air, and there's a little D-ring clip that holds it in there, and you can see there's a cutout right here, but that's where it was when it was in the car, so I ended up just cutting the pipe. If it was actually right there where that little cutout is, could have gotten it. So I'm really hoping that the new one actually lines up right there. And no, it doesn't, of course not. So I'm gonna have to put that on with it in the car. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is slide this up, put that on there, and then put it in the car. For right now, it's just gonna live on the torque tube until I go to put it back in the car. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this line off though. To do that, little screwdriver. So I guess I need to hang on to that because that's a little bit of a different shape than what the previous ones were. Oh, and it has fluid in it too, of course. What I'll do is I'll take that little nub from the other one and put it in there.